Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. A few days ago I put out a creative endeavor, a song by the name Judas Goat. And the narcs that I used to know, the narcs that I've since have gone no contact with, really are the inspiration for this song. It's industrial metal, and apparently not everyone likes industrial metal. You know, who knew? Anyway, whether someone liked it or not is really not the point. But what I noticed is on these channels, I see a few people come on the channels, and their comments have a way of digging into to the creator of the channel, of the content. And I notice it's two kinds that seem to visit on my channel. One, and I need to make some distinctions here, okay? So I'm not talking about all Christians, but some of the Christians that get on are like these toxic, they think that their way is the only way, those kinds, and I avoid religion on this channel for that reason. I don't feel like religion has played a actually, let me rephrase that. I think religion has played a significant damaging role in a lot of people's lives, so I try not to breach that topic much, you know, especially my personal beliefs. I think that we're all spiritual beings, no matter what your level of awareness is. We are spirits, I know that, I got that, but religion seems to not always play a real positive role. And I get some of those on here that like to pass a judgment on what kind of a person I am, because I don't want to hear their comments about it on the channel. There's plenty of places that you can discuss religion and Christianity. This is just not one of them. I don't think it's beneficial to a lot of the folks that visit. So I try to keep it, you know, away from that subject. So not that you shouldn't be religious, or that you shouldn't be Christian, or that you shouldn't be obviously spiritual, but sometimes, you know, people cross the line, and some of them did this last time. The other kind of people that seem to visit themselves on the channel and have some digs at the content creator are, and I'm going to make a distinction here between feminism and toxic feminism, okay? I believe in equal rights. Don't come on the channel and say that I don't. But there are some toxic feminists that seem to use the narcissism issue to bash men, and that somehow they're the victims, when if you really read into what they say, a lot of times they're not a victim at all. They are the victimizer. And I notice both of these, that these seem to be the two kinds of people that I draw fire from, seem to be the toxic feminists and the toxic religious types. And I'm going to tell you, I don't think that these issues have been around. I know they've been around since the dawn of time, but for our discussion for about the last 50 years, it seems like we've had really, really big issues with our social problems. I know that you have to be hardwired, and you have to have a predisposition to be a narcissist or a psychopath, but these kinds of issues, these movements, if you will, have had an increasing effect, and probably since the 60s, the 1960s, and I notice that there's still some residue of this nonsense going on. One is on, God, you know, I don't know if you're gonna like this or not. One of the attitudes and issues is on the right, where you've got the strict, you know, Christian upbringing that nobody else could possibly have anything else to say. They're right and you're wrong. And on the other side, which is maybe even, actually I think is actually more detrimental than that, is this hippie feminist me too, me first generation that started in the 60s. And what a loathsome generation that has turned out to be. While they were busy engaging in this free love and supposed freedom and drugs and anti-establishment, they were setting the stage for a cause and effect, and the effect on their kids and grandkids has been awful. It's been a horrendous way that our society has gone pretty much just off the rails on the way people act. And you can see that when it happens in these channels. You can see a few people come and they make their digs at you. You know, and I'll tell you what, there's another guy that put out maybe 800 or 900 videos. He's been doing this for a long time. All he's got to do is put out a a political video, and all of a sudden all of his subscribers, not all, but a few of his subscribers are writing him off because he says one thing that they don't agree with. And even I found myself at one time watching and being a little taken aback on something he said. Then I had to remember, man, I've been watching this guy for a long time, and I've benefited a lot. So just because we don't agree on this one thing, it really doesn't mean that he's a narcissist all of a sudden, you know what I mean? So, but I've watched these two kinds come in and out of the channel, and I think it's humorous that if they're going to make their digs at what kind of a person I am, that I've put out a bunch of videos that a lot of people seem to have benefited from. It's not a big channel. Don't care if it's a big channel. This is a discussion channel, and you're welcome as long as you don't get nasty with me and end up, having to get your, comments deleted or whatnot. But it's happened a couple of times. Typically, it's either an extreme right-wing. And I'm not against the right wing. I'm actually probably more right-leaning, but right-wing Christer, this kind of nonsense that somehow they know better than everyone else, and you got to give your life to Jesus, which I just think it's nonsense. I'm sorry, I don't think you know what you're talking about. I think I know your religion better than you do. And on the other side, it's these filthy hippies. But somehow they still share the same attitude that they're right and you're wrong. And I think it's time that, I think that the time is up, that people are starting to realize this, that they share common ground in their real narrow points of view. They're really kind of similar in a way. And that hopefully, and I think people are, if you watch these channels and look around the internet, you'll see that a lot of people are waking up to this nonsense, both sides of that. It's like two sides of the same filthy, dirty coin to me. But anyway, I just think it's funny when people get on here and they spout their nonsense, and a lot of times they end up removing their comments by themselves anyway. But anyway, so that's what I have to say about about my creative endeavor, Judas Goat. Check it out. I like it. I thought it sounded pretty cool, but apparently some folks got offended by it, so sorry, I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, good to see everyone, and I hope to see you all again real soon. Thanks.